Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Geez, I don't know. How do you follow Ben? That was just an incredible performance. I just want to say that again, Ben. It's really... So while watching the tape last night, well, it was actually live on television last night. It will be left behind as tape for anthropologists hundreds of years from now to figure out. Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live reminded me of another time many years ago when a similar person was the host of Saturday Night Live, and it was Steve Forbes. And the musical act that night was Rage Against the Machine. And in the rehearsal show, they performing the song Bulls on Parade. They, over the amplifiers, they had American flags upside down as a sign of distress. And so in between the show, Lauren Michaels said that those flags have to be turned right side up. And so the band said, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem." And in the commercial break, just before they're going to perform the song on the live version at 11:30, Tom and Timmy and the others take the flags and turn them upside down on the amplifiers, which then results in literal fisticuffs between the crew for Saturday Night Live and the crew from Rage Against the Machine. And it's ticking down 40 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds live to air. And finally, I'm sad to report, the Saturday Night Live crew won out, ripped the flags off, so there are no flags at all on the amplifier. They came on, Steve Forbes, ladies and gentlemen, Rage Against the Machine. And so they play their song. As soon as the song is over and they go to commercial, security from NBC comes and literally escorts the band off the stage, down the elevator, and out onto 49th Street at Rockefeller Center. Literally, they were just thrown out onto the curb before the show was even over. So that's just one small story that I know about Tom Morello and his wonderful gang of four that we knew then as, and still as, Rage Against the Machine. My own personal story of playing with them, actually, they asked me to direct a music video back in 1999, and this video has recently surfaced. The Hollywood Reporter put it out there on the internet this week because we thought it would be funny during the video. We were going to shoot this down on Wall Street, and there would be a crowd there listening to the band, and we thought it'd be cool to have one of the hedge fund people holding up a sign that said Trump for president. This was 1999. Now, I don't want you to think that Tom and I were the inspiration to Donald Trump, but it was the first time a Trump for president sign had ever been seen. It's in the music video, Sleep Now in the Fire. You can look it up. But so we went down there. I had this idea that they would perform on the steps of the federal building where George Washington took his oath of office, which, as you know, is, if you know New York, it's literally across the street, kitty corner, from the New York Stock Exchange. Now, needless to say, we could not get a permit to film this music video down there. And but of course, permit schmermit is the general rock and roll anthem. So we set up on the steps very quickly. No police. Now remember, this is 1999, so it's, it was a little easier to do this. We got all set up, and then when you make a music video, you have somebody playing from a boombox or someplace the actual song, and the band is lip syncing and pretending to play their guitars. I'm not telling you this for the first time, right? I don't want to shatter anybody's illusions. If it's one of these things for you, like you thought there was a Santa and now I've just told you that there isn't, please accept my apologies. But they're never really singing when you're shooting the music video. So anyway, so we crank up it was more than a boombox. We had a nice big amp. And the song begins, da na 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 na, and it's like it blows out all across over to the stock exchange, stops everything. All these people come over, all these people that work at the stock exchange. The guys are playing along, we're filming it, and the police show up. And the sergeant comes up to me and he says, "You have to stop this right now." And I said, "No, let us just play the song once, and it'll be fine, No, you have to stop this right now." And I said, "Well, let me ask the band." There's no asking the band. They're still playing. They see what's going on. And so I said, "Listen, we don't mean any harm." I don't know what the words were. I never got them out of my mouth. He gets so angry. He goes up to Tom, and the fake cord that his guitar is plugged into his fake amp, and the sergeant yanks the cord out, and the music keeps going. And the poor cop, he's just like, he was so confused. It was like he went into some alternate reality he didn't know that he was in. And then he looks at me, and now he's just angry. And he takes both of my arms, shoves them up behind my back, gets the cuffs out, handcuffs me. Only time in my life I had been handcuffed, thanks to Tom Morello. And they haul me away. And I'm turning around to the band, I'm going, "Charge the stock exchange, sir! Charge the And the camera, keep the cameras going, and I'm like, they're like taking me away like this. The stock exchange, and the band, they put the guitars down, and the drummer puts his sticks down, and they literally get up, and they take the whole crowd across, and they are like literally charging. They're going to go into the New York Stock Exchange. Now, because we've been out there for a while, and there's the security cameras, they saw inside the stock exchange what we were doing. And they immediately hit some button, and all these gates start coming down on all the doors of the stock exchange so that nobody could get in. And they literally shut down the New York Stock Exchange at 2 p.m. And to this day is the only time the New York Stock Exchange has ever been shut down by the people of the United States of America. So meanwhile, I was taken away. But no. So that's what it's like when you're around Tom. As Bono said, as Ben said, or whatever. There's no inviting Tom to the cause. Tom's already there, and Tom has already got 3 other ideas for you to do that are far beyond what you were planning to do. But he has just been the most incredible person when it comes to standing up for people that don't have a voice. And he's not, it's not like he had to do this. I mean, this great band that began, I believe, 1990? Was that your first year? 1990. So, and of course, the sound that they created, they were really the band of the 1990s. They really created this whole thing. Of course, the Battle of Los Angeles, all of this stuff that you know, or I hope you know. And it really affected music. It affected the culture. It affected things politically. It was really quite something. Tom Morello, has many things in common actually with President Obama. President Obama's father was from Kenya. Tom Morello's father was from Kenya. President Obama was raised by a single mother. Tom was raised by a single mother. Obama from Illinois, Morello from Illinois. Obama went to Harvard, Tom went to Harvard. Harvard gets the first woo? Really? I can handle that. It's okay. Obama's been on the cover of Rolling Stone. Tom's been on the cover of Rolling Stone. We were making our Obama Morello list at the table, and then Tom said, "But there's one huge difference between the two of us. I would have closed Guantanamo on day one." So, it's a real privilege to be able to be a friend of Tom's and to have been there through so many of the causes and so many of the things he stood for, so many of the things that you have fought for here with the ACLU of Southern California. And it's been such a wonderful evening seeing all of these individuals that you're honoring. And but I was sitting there at the table looking at the scroll, the list of the names of the people who have been shot by the police in the last year. Was anybody else affected by how long that went on tonight? It was first appalling, and then it was excruciating, and then I had to turn away. I didn't want to look at it anymore. And my sister, who is here with me tonight, she lives here in the state. She's a public defender for appellate cases for criminals, criminal appellate court. It's a very hard job trying to get an appeal for someone in prison, and that's how she spends her days. And she said to me, "Wouldn't it be something? I wonder how long the screen, how long it would last if we just put up the name of every single African American and Latino in this state who's sitting in a prison tonight in this state of California." This is a totally racist system that we have. There's no other explanation for it, and it's so appalling. When the police in Baltimore killed the young man back in, was it April? I was off shooting my film in Europe, and we heard about it there, and it really affected all of us while we were making this movie, because we were actually in Portugal, where they decided to stop locking people up for using or possessing drugs, and they treat it as a medical problem and not a criminal problem. And so we were watching that day, and remember we were sitting there watching CNN, and I was so angry about this. And I sent Tom a text, and I said, "You know what we need to do is we need to do a prison break. When I get back, we should just pick a prison and announce that we're going there to release everybody inside, or to make it more palatable to the average American who would be watching this, every nonviolent person who's locked up in our prisons. We should start with the assumption that they're there because of a race-based system, and then we can sort it out later. But I'd rather open those gates and let people out and have jobs for them and bring back a middle-class society and have the treatment necessary for them that they need." And he responded, my only worry with him was that I wasn't going to be back for 3 more weeks, and he was already going to go do it before I got back. But it's like, that's how we're wired to think. And maybe in another time and place, you wouldn't hear of Tom Morello because they'd have him locked up. Maybe we'll reach that time and place again, because what he's saying is very dangerous. It says on his guitar, "Whatever it takes." He's not kidding. He's not kidding. You're giving this award tonight to somebody who isn't just talking the talk. He's more than walking the walk. He's willing to put his neck and his life on the line, because he will not live in a country like this, and he's not going anywhere. He's staying right here. He refuses to have an America that's this way. And we are so lucky and proud and honored to have him be here tonight. But mostly, whatever he's going to do tomorrow is going to be something far different than this. And it's amazing. I wore, I knew you'd be the only other person with a hat on here, or a ball cap. And he's such a beloved Cubs fan. He went to every game to watch them lose. And I felt so bad for him. I didn't have a Royals hat, so I wore the anti-Mets hat for you here, Tom Morello, tonight. Bono is right. You're very lucky to have this mother of yours. She's with us here tonight. She just celebrated her 92nd birthday a couple of weeks ago, Mary Morello. And his wonderful wife, Denise, who is with him every step of the way. Denise, you're awesome. And now, without further ado, I would like to bring up to the stage and for all of you to give a huge rage welcome and honor this wonderful man, this wonderful American. The Bill of Rights Award for the ACLU of Southern California this year goes to Mr. Tom Morello.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
I love you.
Thanks. Love you too, brother.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
There you
Thanks. Thanks very much. Thanks so much, Mike, for your kind and overstated speech. Thanks very much to Ben Harper, who I'm proud to call a brother in arms, and who's always the first one to say yes whenever I ask him to do something that has a social justice underpinning, and he was just fantastic tonight. It's really lovely. Thank you, guys. Yesterday I was playing air hockey with my 4-year-old, and he says, "Daddy, are there jails in Los Angeles?" I said, "Yes, son, there are jails in Los Angeles." He said, "Why?" Now, I'm losing the air hockey game, so I kind of want to get back into it. So I say, "Well, sometimes people do bad things, and they put them in jail." He says, "But, Daddy, Mommy says you've been to jail a lot of times, and they're giving you an award for it." I'd like to thank very much the ACLU for this unexpected and incredible honor in this beautiful setting. When I see a swanky ballroom, my first instinct is to storm it, yet here we are. The ACLU is a tireless protector of civil liberties and once even intervened on behalf of my underground high school newspaper, the Student Pulse. When Libertyville Public High School tried to shut us down because we wrote articles about apartheid, Central American death squads, and the indisputable fact that the dean of students was a total prick, the ACLU intervened on our behalf and taught the school administration a First Amendment civics lesson they would not soon forget. The paper was saved. That episode was formative. I learned that while it is important to stand up for yourself, when we stand up for each other, the sky's the limit. When we stand up for each other, we can win. For that lesson, I'm deeply indebted to the ACLU. Thanks to my bandmates in Rage Against the Machine and Audioslave, two bands whose rock power was so mighty that their message resounded across the globe and provided a pulpit to broadcast our Marshall Stack propaganda of the deed. Without the incredible musical chemistry I was so fortunate to share with Zach, Brad, Tim, and Chris, I'm confident I would not be standing here tonight and Paul Ryan would be denied his PX90 workout soundtrack. A very special thanks to my current bandmates, most of whom are here tonight, Carl Restivo, Eric Gardner, and Dave Gibbs, and to our comrade in arms, brother Wayne Kramer. I call them the Freedom Fighter Orchestra, formidable players and great friends who selflessly follow me around the globe from unpaid gig to play for a myriad of worthwhile causes. From Sing Sing Prison to Walter Reed Hospital, from indigent camps in Bristol, England to the 9th Ward in New Orleans. We've rocked against police brutality in Ferguson and for economic justice at Occupy Wall Street, for Iraq veterans against the war in Chicago, and for striking teachers in Madison, Wisconsin, for a $15 minimum wage in Seattle, and for immigrants and workers' rights right here in Los Angeles. On every stage, in every city, we take our shot to try to create a little bit of the world we'd like to one day see. I'm so grateful for their tremendous talent, their friendship, and their passionate commitment to sing and play for justice. Thanks also to their significant others for their unending patience as they breathlessly wait for us to stop doing good deeds for a fucking minute so we can all earn some money to pay the rent. Wealthy patrons of the radical arts, please step forward after the program. My greatest thanks goes to my family. My mother, Mary, who at 92 remains the most radical and outspoken member of the Morello family, is here tonight. Also the most popular member of the Morello family, a lifelong civil rights advocate, the founder of the anti-censorship organization Parents for Rock and Rap, and an unrepentant revolutionary in thought and deed. My mom undertook perhaps the most radical position a parent can take, allowing her child, equipped with a Harvard degree, to leave for Hollywood to live in a squat with the aim of playing heavy metal music and fomenting dissent. Mary writes a monthly check to the ACLU for $50. Thanks to my dad, Nyefe Njoroge, a Kenyan freedom fighter, whose absence put the rage in my machine, but whose example, by way of overthrowing British colonial rule in Kenya, continues to inspire me to put no reins on ambitions of freedom. Thanks to my two union kids, Rhodes and Roman. Let foes of justice tremble, for at 4 and 6 years old, they are growing strong and they are growing righteous. They inspire me to speak out and fight every day for a better world. Our best revenge is the laughter of our children. And finally, a special thanks to the love of my life, Sweet Dee, my rebel girl. We have marched together and gone to jail together. I knew it was true love the day she charmed a police officer into letting her retake her mugshot. That's a keeper. Her wise counsel, kind heart, and striking good looks are my North Star that get me through thick and thin. I must confess, in many ways, this award is ill-deserved. On my best days, all I do is simply amplify the voices of grassroots, rank-and-file fighters for social justice, those who work, toil, and sacrifice on a daily basis, often at great risk, with no hope of banquets or awards. It is their courage and your courage that will help forge a more humane, just, and peaceful planet. I accept this award with love and appreciation and in solidarity with them and with you. When we stand up for each other, the sky's the limit. When we stand up for each other, we can win. When we stand up for each other, we've got a shot to create the world we'd like to one day see. And so, brothers and sisters, I will see you at the barricades and in the mosh pit. Thank you very much.